Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. I greatly appreciate them. If you're interested in supporting the channel, there are many ways to do that. You just need to look in the drop-down menu on any of the daily videos. In there is all the different ways that you can follow me or book a private reading or do any of that sort of stuff. It's all in there. So please check that out. There's also some stuff in there I'd like you to know when watching any of my videos. So please tap that down arrow on the YouTube daily videos and just read the information that's in there. Beyond that, this is a broad spectrum reading for all signs. It is a daily forecast of what the energy is and what's kind of going on, what the cards want us to know, what we need to be aware of as a collective. Some of these readings are going to ring more true in your life than others. If they don't ring true or it doesn't resonate, that's fine. It doesn't mean anything's wrong. You just might be working on something different. If it does fit, great, utilize it in the best way that you know how. This reading is for originally created for Friday the 25th of June. It's not solely set for that date. If you're seeing this reading on a different date and you're like, oh, it's made for a different date, I think that it's more about the message, and I trust that spirit or our higher selves, our guides, can get the message to us when we need it. So if this happens to pop up somewhere in your life, give it a look and have an open mind and see if it applies, see if it works. All right, so let's get into this and see what the cards want us to know and see where we're at. So we have the moon, Archangel Haniel, which we saw her yesterday with the High Priestess, I believe. She was also associated with that card, which is Pisces. The moon is Pisces/Cancer. It's definitely water energy. It's that sort of, I don't want to say dark side, but it is kind of, it's got this sort of mystical darkness to it, right? The moon is kind of a little bit, can be about confusion, uncertainty, that sort of a thing. But it's also about, to me, in my personal opinion, it's about the subconscious or the shadow side, right? The deeper aspects of ourself, who we are like deep down that we may not necessarily show or share with others. The moon is card number 9, right? Or I'm sorry, it's number 18, but it boils down numerologically to a 9. Nines are about personal completions or coming to like sort of a state of personal completion. It does say here, the opportunity to improve your plans, listen to your intuition for accurate guidance, face your fears, and grow stronger. What's interesting to me about this card is like yesterday we had that High Priestess, right? And it says here, listen to your intuition for accurate guidance. And what the High Priestess sort of represents is that spiritual connection to that deeper sense of self. Although sometimes that sense of self or that spiritual awareness may not always make complete sense to, like, say, maybe our logical mind or our egoic, look at our lives, right? Sometimes what our spirit wants versus what our ego wants can be two totally different things. And, the way that our spirit may want us to take on a task or a project may be different than how our ego perceives things, right? Our ego may want to be in control, where spirit's like, no, release control. It's that sort of a thing. The moon to me is about trusting some of that, allowing our intuition. The moon is also heavily associated with our intuition to guide us today, right? When I think about the number 9 in this card, I think about there is maybe a completion or some sort of ending that we might be working on, in the sense that we need to listen to that deeper sense of self or that deeper awareness that is within us that tells us like, this too we can either move away from, let go of. It's sort of like these two cards back to back to me, the High Priestess and then the moon, speak to this idea of trusting our own higher knowledge that as it comes in, I would say we would have to be a bit more on the quiet side to tap into it, to be able to receive it. And then once we receive it, we need to sort of take action or trust it. And so we I feel like this is a continuation, certainly, of yesterday's reading. As far as the vibe is very much the same. We even have the same archangel sort of presiding over these two cards. We had that midweek Tower card, right? And then we go into that Two of Cups, which is some of you might be feeling some of that Two of Cups energy, which is that sort of, in my opinion, it's going to be about a self-appreciation, or at least a deeper appreciation of of those around us, the relationships we have, the value we place in them, the respect that we give them, that sort of a thing. Or that could represent for our relationship to the self, right? But we have to do this deeper sort of inner work that these two cards are requesting from us. It should be impactful. We're talking about two major arcana cards. We've seen actually a lot of major arcana this week, surprisingly so. We've seen Justice, the High Priestess, the Chariot. We even saw the Tower in Sunday's reading. So, and then we saw the Moon today. So this has been, I think, a substantial week. Hopefully we're making changes, cuts, choices, focusing our attention on things that enable us to like remove ourselves from things that are no longer working. You know, if it's thoughts, if it's beliefs, if it's situations, if it's people, I really think that these cards are asking us to take the leap, be strong, trust your own internal sort of wisdom, your deeper spiritual knowledge, to allow yourself to grow in the way that you need to grow, right? And so that's my feeling with these cards. Let's see what the energy oracle has to say. So we have second chakra, Archangel Ariel, and it's card number 36, which is also a 9. 3 and 6 is 9. Your second chakra houses your dreams, your emotions. The moon can certainly be a very emotional card. You know how the moon sort of can affect tides, it being associated with the signs of Cancer and Pisces, the card itself. Those are very emotional water element signs. So intuitively, I think we need to be aware of where we're at also emotionally, because the second chakra card comes up. I like how we have this sort of the warmth and goldenness of the second chakra contrasted with the blue and calm coolness of the moon card. There's sort of this like ebb and flow, or this balance between the two different colors, if that makes sense. One is warmer and the other is cooler, but there's like a nice balance between the two. We want to, I would say, listen to our dreams, listen to our emotions. How do things make us feel? And really pay attention to those feelings. If something is bothering us, setting us off, offering us discomfort, that's the thing that we may need to sort of change or move away from through that tower, or allow ourselves to just, gracefully release it. To trust that we're going to be okay, even if we no longer engage with something that isn't serving us, or that isn't and like I said, that doesn't have to be outside of ourselves. It can be a behavior of our own, right? But we have to listen to those more subtle voices of spirit that are coming through via the moon, and also yesterday's High Priestess card, that are telling us, like, look, it's time to make the change. It's time to trust this, in a way, a sort of, I don't want to say easier, softer way, but it does feel like there's a little bit more of a, even with the High Priestess too, it's like this idea of going inward. You get that with the moon too. It's this idea of going inward and trusting one's own information over that of anybody else's, right? What society dictates to us, what, our loved ones around us need from us. We need to sort of dig deep and place ourselves first. That's my feeling. I would say with the second chakra card being here, pay very close attention to your emotions, how you're feeling, how things make you feel, and also pay attention to your dreams. That would be also kind of an interesting aspect to this reading, because the moon is associated with night and sleep, and the second chakra is where is very much connected to our dream reality and the things that go on there. So pay close attention to those sort of things too. Now let's go to the grounding stone. And the grounding stone is on carnelian. Okay, interesting. This is a word similar to yesterday in a way. It's knowledge. And yesterday's word was on rose quartz, but it was learn. So again, I feel like we need to ground in the knowledge of what we know sort of about ourselves, what we're learning through maybe our emotional states, through our intuition, about who we are, where we stand, what we need to end, what we need to change. The double nines in both of these cards speak to that idea of taking those steps towards making those changes or those separations in a way. The knowledge is that we're gaining some sort of sense or awareness of ourselves, I believe, that is hopefully making us stronger or empowering us to no longer engage in the things that are built on those sort of discomforts or inequity or whatever it is that that tower moment is from Sunday that underpins all of this. We need to look to, my feeling is we need to look to areas where are we, it's that idea of like repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. They say that's the definition of insanity. And if so, if we're being, I don't want to say insane because insane is a very harsh word, but if we're engaging in something repetitively or have been over a period of time, whether it's our own behaviors or situations with others that continue to harm us or are built on faulty foundations or no longer serving us, we really need to take stock in that, look at that for what it is, and then begin to sort of dig deep to make the changes, to trust our own sort of internal dialogue and allow that knowledge to be our guide today. Ground in sort of the strength and the truth of that knowledge. There's a big focus too with justice showing up this week and everything. There's this big focus on truth, and what I mean by that is like our own internal truth. What is true for us, and are we willing to place that first and foremost in a loving, kind way for ourselves, but also for those around us? Just because we listen to our own truth doesn't necessarily mean that we have to do others wrong. Does that make sense? Or that we're doing the wrong thing by doing that, even though others would like us to think that because, they have their truth and they want us to fall into alignment with that. Does that make sense? So I think this is about towing the line and holding our own truth first and foremost at our very depths, trusting that, seeking that out, even if it gets a little bit emotional, even if it gets a little bit cloudy, even if the depths to which we have to dig are a little bit more emotional than we might normally be comfortable with. To me, these cards are saying don't don't smooth everything over or push it all to the back and pretend like it doesn't exist, because it does exist. And this is a beautiful time to sort of let it come to the surface, let it rise to the surface. I also have to say too, I am filming this on the morning of the 24th, which tonight we do have a full moon event in Sagittarius. Full moons are about release, which would be that tower energy. Sagittarius is definitely about expansion. So we have the contrast of not only the release of the full moon or the cycles that we're in around the full moon, which this would be a beautiful time to sort of release some of those things, but also to gain or expand in the knowledge of who we are, what we need, how we need it, and to provide that for ourselves. So this is a very powerful time, and I think these readings are reflecting that. That is your forecast. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Leave me any questions or comments, and have a wonderful day, you guys. These are really beautiful energies. Please work with them. Take care. Bye-bye.